Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into an absolutely fascinating ancient dilemma from the Prajnaparamita. It's the ultimate showdown between the scroll and the relic, challenging pretty much everything we think we know about sacred objects, physical worship, and the true nature of enlightenment.
So picture this. The Buddha poses a massive, mind-bending hypothetical to the heavenly king, Sakra. He says, imagine you have to choose between an entire continent completely filled to the brim with sacred Buddha relics, the literal physical remains of the enlightened one, or just a single written scroll of the Prajnaparamita. Which one are you going to take? It's a brilliant setup, right? It directly pits the ultimate physical sacred object against intangible written wisdom.
And Sakra's answer is actually kind of surprising. He tells the Buddha he'd take the single scroll. No hesitation. Why? Well, he points out that those physical relics, as amazing as they are, only have power because they're a byproduct of profound wisdom. The physical remains are only venerated because that person achieved the perfection of wisdom. Without that wisdom, they're really just ordinary bone and ash.
But as you can probably guess, this introduces a massive philosophical paradox. It leads us right into this incredible debate about grasping the ungraspable.
Enter Sariputra, a senior disciple who steps up and essentially says, hold on a second. He challenges Sakra with a very practical question. He asks, if this wisdom, this Prajnaparamita, is entirely formless, without physical characteristics, and exists in a state of non-duality, how on earth can a human being literally grasp or choose it? Because, you can physically hold a relic in your hand, but you can't exactly put formless wisdom in your pocket.
So the crucial takeaway here is that taking this wisdom isn't about clutching a physical object. It's not about gripping a piece of parchment. It's actually about internalizing its non-dual reality. To choose the Prajnaparamita is to align your mind with the understanding that there's no real separation between things, no dualities like grasping versus letting go. You possess it by realizing it, not by hoarding it.
And this completely abstract idea builds right into the core thesis of the entire text. It brings us to the concept of the mother of Buddhas. The text lays it out explicitly. This profound wisdom is the literal mother of Buddhas, which is such a fascinating concept when you think about it. It means every physical manifestation of a Buddha, every teaching they give, every miracle they perform, they all actually originate from this formless insight. Enlightenment isn't just something a Buddha invents out of thin air. It's a pre-existing wisdom that gives birth to the state of Buddhahood itself.
And there's this brilliant metaphor that perfectly illustrates the dynamic at play. The text compares it to a king and a debtor. Imagine a guy who is up to his eyeballs in debt, but he serves directly by the side of an incredibly powerful king. Because he's so close to the king, even his creditors treat him with immense respect and give him gifts. In this scenario, the wisdom is the king, the actual true source of power. The physical relic, that's just the debtor. It only gets respect and reverence purely because it was once associated with the king.
To really drive home how this abstract wisdom practically affects our minds, the text introduces a stunning ancient metaphor, the wish-fulfilling jewel.
To make things tangible, we get introduced to the wish-fulfilling Mani jewel. Now, in ancient lore, this is an object of almost unimaginable power. We're talking about a heavenly stone that interacts with the physical world in miraculous ways, totally transforming its environment just by being in the room.
Physically, this mythological jewel performs absolute miracles. Got a terrible fever? Just touching the jewel cures you instantly. Stuck in pitch-black darkness? The jewel suddenly radiates blinding light. It neutralizes the deadly venom of a snakebite on contact. And get this, if you toss it into a pool of murky, severely polluted water, that water turns crystal clear in seconds. It is the ultimate physical remedy.
The text makes this amazing argument. Exactly like that Mani jewel, the perfection of wisdom acts as a supreme medicine but for the mind. It instantly cures the inner diseases of greed, anger, and ignorance. It completely dispels the psychological darkness we all sometimes live in. It acts as an antivenom to toxic attachments. And honestly, perhaps most importantly for us today, holding this wisdom in your mind clears out the muddy, turbulent waters of modern anxieties. It leaves you with total, absolute clarity.
So what's the real return on investment here? That brings us to the ultimate value proposition, or what we'll call the ultimate merit.
Here, the Buddha makes a genuinely radical claim.
We've already established that worshipping relics is a good thing, and even taking his own physical relics, breaking them down to the size of a mustard seed and sharing them with the entire world, that generates boundless, incredible merit. But, and this is huge, the text asserts that sharing and explaining the Prajnaparamita, the actual wisdom, to just one other person yields infinitely greater merit than distributing all the physical relics in the universe combined. Literally no comparison.
So how exactly do we get there? The text actually gives us a very specific, structured pathway to achieve this highest possible merit. It starts internally, right? You receive the wisdom, you read it with immense focus, and you really remember it deeply. But the final, absolutely crucial step, the one that actually generates the ultimate merit, is the selfless act of opening it up and explaining it to others without any ego. The wisdom absolutely has to be shared to reach its full potential.
To wrap up his teaching, the Buddha drops an unbelievable revelation. He states that even he, the fully enlightened Buddha himself, reveres and relies upon this text. Let that sink in for a second. Even after achieving ultimate liberation, he still worships the Prajnaparamita. Why? Because it's the mother of all his enlightenment. He completely defers to the wisdom that created him.
Which brings this whole thing right back around to us. We are constantly obsessing over physical objects, artifacts, the literal relics of success. But this source material challenges us to look so much deeper. So, I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder as you step back into your day. Are you going to choose to simply collect the relics of the past, or will you actively cultivate the intangible wisdom that creates the future?